Hey, good morning, my friends. It is so great to be back with you all again. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Welcome to the Friedman Adventures morning briefing. It's great to be with you. In fact, we're out here so early, coyotes are running by right before I did the show right here on the beach. Pretty crazy as the wildlife are all up to hear the morning briefing. Before I get into a lot of great fishing, and I'm going to be covering from Ensenada up to the Channel Islands with you, I want to harken back to last night and our live podcast and all the people that just kept sending questions in. New people like Abdul, thank you so much. It was great to get all those questions. 2.5 hours we went last night with Greg Brown from Opsin Fluorocarbon. Greg was a spectacular guest. He talked about why it's important to fish with Opsin Fluorocarbon. He also talked about some of his past history. He was a stand-up comedian. It was truly great. And Chef Jason showed up, Jason Lawler, who's doing our cooking instructional videos, doing such a great job from Scholb, S-C-H-O-L-B, in Long Beach, California. Nice little bar down there, got great food, and it's the meeting place after our jig fishing workshop we're going to be doing on May the 15th. That's a Sunday morning, 8 to 11. We'll be at the Casting Pond. Note the difference in venue, please. The Casting Pond at Recreation Park off 7th Street in Long Beach. We'll be there from 8 to 11, and then we go over and have some fun with Jason at his place, Scholb's in Long Beach. About 5 minutes away, we're going to do a drawing. We're going to talk fishing. There's coffee, there's beer, there's great food, as I mentioned. It should be great. Jason was great last night. In fact, Jason brought some teriyaki yellowtail. We'll have that recipe up for you really shortly, and treated the staff down there at 22nd Street Landing, Tony, Janelle, all those great folks who hang in there late at night to allow us to do our podcast, and we deeply appreciate that. And a cameo appearance, more than a cameo appearance, with Tino Valentine. As beat and tired as that poor guy was, he got in late last night after fishing San Clemente Island. He shows up toward the end of the show and shares pearls of wisdom about the current bite. He's a great entertainer, a great instructor, great teacher, and a great friend. And I think you'll enjoy Tino from last night also. So make sure you watch the Friedman Adventures live podcast. All those great questions and all the people that kept that show going for 2.5 hours. Let's go down to Ensenada, Baja, California, about 60 miles below the border, and talk that bluefin tuna because it's on the bite. I know the Independence is down there getting a good shot of that bluefin tuna. He may be done. I think he is. Had some great fishing down there in that neck of the woods. It's been really good. A lot of this 35 to 50 pound bluefin tuna. Some fish up over the 100-pound mark, biting those smaller 100 gram to 200 gram flat falls, knife jigs. Those are all working really, really well down there. The nighttime bite's still excellent, but we're getting that daytime fish also. When you're fishing bait, we do highly recommend you fish fluorocarbon, 30 to 40 pound with a good hot bait. That's always the best way to get a bite, using your eyes, your instincts when you go to the bait well, and choosing a good hot bait is so important. And if you don't know how to do that, take the time to ask a crew member. They'll show you how. Just something that we've said for years. The hardest bait in the well to catch is probably the one you want on your hook. You want that bait to look as natural as possible, and that is a great way to do it. So choose good hot baits. Now, it's cold and windy down here this morning, and we do have some weather to talk about. I will get into that, but let's first of all talk about weather in the Ensenada tuna zone. And that weather is close enough inshore where it's really not going to be an issue. It might be a little breezy, but that's not going to be an issue at all. Those guys are blessed where that tuna fish is right now, so they should be fine in the coming days, and they should continue to hammer out limit style bluefin tuna fishing out of San Diego. We mentioned to you that the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. boats out of San Diego are starting to get a piece of it. Thanks to the San Diego and their great crew out of C4 Sportfishing, they found some fish 2 days ago, went offshore because the Coronado Islands were pretty darn slow, and they found pretty good evidence of fish. There were smaller spots, but enough of it around where they picked off 7 bluefin. Yesterday, 12 bluefin, and that is only going to continue to grow. You get some more coverage on it, more boats out there working together, and that bite is just getting ready to fire off and really go off. Again, that 30 to 40 pound fly line bait working really, really well, but those smaller jigs, the 100 to 200 grams, also super effective on this fish. So now that fleet, that 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. fleet out of San Diego is going to start focusing offshore. We mentioned to you the other day that the Coronado Islands were so slow that they were going to go offshore, and many people welcome that. For one thing, many of you don't have a passport. You don't need one when you're fishing offshore. You only need it when you're fishing the Coronado Islands, so or you're close to the coast. But in this scenario, for the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. boats, they're fishing the islands or they're fishing offshore. You only need it when you're fishing offshore. And boy, I'll tell you, it's going to just continue to heat up and grow. And I cannot believe that here we are in April catching offshore fish out of San Diego. I can still remember the days where you were looking, at your watch. You should be looking at a calendar, but some of us, like me, who are a little slower, were looking at our watches and waiting for July 4th for the albacore to bite, and then we could go offshore and start catching albie and some bluefin, not that much, and then later in the fall some more fish. But here we go, man. We are offshore already. It's great fishing down there, and I hope that is going to continue. I don't see anything slowing it down. As I said, the weather should be just fine. We briefly mentioned the Coronado Islands. That place will get going here. It's been great fishing there in past years. Things are a little bit slower. We are in this La Nina right now. There is cooler water temperatures, and so it just seems to me like, besides that bluefin, things are taking a little while to get going on some warmer water species. So the islands right now, rockfish, there's been some yellow zooming around there, but not a whole heck of a lot here recently. But once again, that should get going again. You private boaters who are looking at it, I know, are catching a few yellows here and there, and hopefully we'll see that to continue to progress. All right, San Clemente Island has been the site of some great fishing for the Freedom. He's been up there around 40 yellows on just about every single trip. I talked to all the boys, the crew members on the Freedom, and a great group of guys who were headed out, and I hope you're getting them this morning. That weather has come up at Clemente, and it reduced the catch yesterday down to 9 yellows, a few sea bass, a halibut, and some rockfish to go along with it. Tino Valentine at about 10 in the morning, the area that he was fishing, said, I can't take it anymore. I got to get out of here. My passengers have got to get out of here. So it was a little bit breezy there where they were fishing, and they left when they had that count, went to some more tranquil seas where they could concentrate on some rockfish and that kind of thing to help fill the sacks. But previous, man, it has been outstanding fishing. And a weird thing, these thresher sharks that we've been seeing, I asked Tino last night, I don't remember ever seeing thresher sharks at San Clemente Island. He said, it is bizarre. He said, I don't remember seeing that. And he said the past month there has been so different, so eye-opening, some things he's never seen before, and just the quantity of T-sharks that are over there at Clemente right now is astounding and really, really interesting. All right, so when you're fishing Clemente, and this weather is going to come down here in a few days, so it should be really great. Again, what has been going on the Freedom, if you're jumping on there, is you're fishing dropper loop, heavy string in the morning, 60 pound, no problem, big hook, 5-0 or bigger hook. Fishing live squid, you're fishing down deep, fish can't even see anything, they just come and bite your bait, and that dropper loop rig with a heavy line is super important. Tino said that they're losing a lot of fish because guys are undergunned. They don't have heavy enough tackle, so make sure that you are tackled up. 40 will do you just fine, but if you have 60, that would be great. And then as the sun comes up over the island, that's when you go to the sliding egg sinker type rig, staying with a big hook. The squid you're fishing with over there is small stuff, like 4 inches long. So pretty much you put 2 of those things to cover up your big hook and then toss it out there. And then what you're doing is you're fishing the entire water column, letting your bait sink down, bringing it back up, trying to locate where the yellow sea bass, we know the halibut are usually deeper, but not all the time. They do come up off the bottom. I've seen them jump out of the water here on several different occasions. So working that water column is the way to get it done. Tino Valentine, he was great last night on the podcast. Give it a look. He's, as I said, hilarious guy, great entertainer, and a super capable skipper. And I love that crew on board the Freedom. It was good to see them all last night. Gary Woodrum, he walked up to me and showed me that he had his captain's license in hand. So proud of Gary, Trevor. Both those guys got their captain's licenses, and we say, good job, boys. way to go. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Also talk to the crew on board the Pursuit, and they are headed over there right now to Catalina Island. The conditions have been a little bit off, a little green, colder water, but they're still managing to hammer out good catches of rockfish and whitefish, all of that great eating fish for you. The game plan for the Pursuit has been to focus about half the time on trying to get some exotics to go, and they've already caught a white sea bass over there, and they've had some days of good yellowtail fishing. You know that's going to happen again. They focus on that for about half their day, and then the other half of the day they get you some fish to take home and do a fish taco spread that your neighbors, friends, and loved ones will die for. And Chef Jason, who was on last night's podcast, he's going to be doing all kinds of great recipes for all of you. So make sure you tune into that. It's really great to have him on board with us. All right, Channel Island area. Wow, what can I tell you? Man, we have a charter tonight up there on board the Endeavor with my good friend Tucker McCombs. And Tucker has been killing it up there. He had 2 straight days of limits of white sea bass, and there has been some tankers running around there. Look at that fish on the Aloha Spirit the other day, 63.8 or 62.8, I believe it was. Previous to that, the Cobra had one that was in the high 60s. And also Tucker with fish in the 30-pound, 40-pound class. He had 50 to 60-pound fish. I mean, a grade of fish that has been spectacular. And Oscar Ochoa, who was on board the last trip when they had limits on board the Endeavor a couple days ago, he was just telling me stories that were amazing of sea bass up on the surface. You can see a whole nice school of fish, 30 to 40 pounders. And Tucker would run over, shut down, and guys would throw their baits. Some guys would hook up. Sometimes they'd go complete bendo. What an exciting way to fish white sea bass. Much different than we fish it down in this neck of the woods, where you mostly anchor up and wait for the fish to swim through. They do run and gun kind of fishing, the kind of fishing that maybe you do for bluefin or albacore or big spots of yellows that are up, running toward those spots and getting a bait or a lure on them. What a fun way to fish. Now, a couple days ago, the weather went to spit, and it is still like spit. Are we going tonight? I don't know. We're waiting to hear from Tucker McCombs. He's going to make the call around noontime today. All you folks from our charter group, just be patient. We don't want to cancel it if there's any kind of a window. And the weather's just been so up and down, and the forecasts have also, all of a sudden, they're calling for a hurricane, and then there's a window of opportunity, and that's all we need. There's a little window of opportunity. So I'll keep you guys, I'm talking to our charter group for tonight, I'll keep you all informed, and if we don't get out tonight, we'll reschedule. Those of you who want to come with us can, and those of you who cannot make it, don't worry about it. So we'll continue to watch that situation. It's been really great up there, but we have a lot of weather, and by that I mean wind right now. It's even breezy here along the beach, so I want to talk to you about surf fishing, and while I'm doing that, remind you that right up the street there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, you can pick up some great surf fishing equipment and baits. Here, yeah, this is definitely fishable right now. If it gets too much more wind on it, it's going to become a little bit more difficult, but this is a windy beach here in Surfside. It's very, very windy most of the time. You can find other areas that are much more tranquil in Long Beach and down around Dana, as well as Bolsa Chica. There's been a lot more Corvina so far this year. That is really good to see, because the last couple of years, and Tino Valentine loves fishing those things, it's been pretty tough on the Corvina, but they are around. They're biting the bait. Sand crabs are becoming more and more prevalent right now. Sandworms that you can dig up, or as I said, go to Big Fish, pick up some bloodworms or some other baits to try here along the beaches. And of course, throwing artificials is a great way to get a bite. The next grunion run is going to be April the 30th. So once again, as those grunions are staging now, they move up on the beach. All kinds of predators follow them up here, like halibut and yellowfin croaker and spotfin croaker. So fingers crossed that that is about to get better and better and better. Bait fishing the best way. However, you know how effective lucky crafts can be on halibut. And I also love a little chrome jig, crocodile, castmaster, something like that. You can work the beaches. Yellowfin croaker bite really well on that, and so do halibut. A lot of fun. Spotfin croaker, not so much. They don't bite that chrome jig very well at all. And It's a pretty good bird school up there working right now. Could be that grunion staging up, and it could be anchovy, could be fry, some smaller larvae, some smaller bait moving up on the beaches here. Remember, when you're fishing the beach, keep your eyes open for that kind of a signal. So April 30th, next grunion run, observation only. Can't touch them, can't take them. Don't do that. You'll get in all kinds of trouble. Observation only this month and next month also. All right, May the 15th, I have to invite you all to our jig fishing workshop. We're going to go through the mechanics of how to throw the iron. You're going to have over 12 instructors there. It's going to be great. The 540 Slingers Club guys will all be there. Danny and Jeff Yeomans and so many others, and all they want to do is impart their knowledge to you, and they know how to toss the iron. So this is for beginners, intermediate, and experts. The experts, I'm hoping, will help the guys that are not that good, but we've got a casting contest for all of you at the end, and that will be for the experts. We can all sit back and marvel at how far they can throw an iron. If you think you can throw an iron farther than anybody else, you're definitely going to want to be at Recreation Park at the Casting Pond, 7th Street, Long Beach, California. This was previously scheduled to be at Marine Stadium. That is no longer our venue. Our venue now is the Casting Pond there at Recreation Park. Come on out, 8 o'clock in the morning till 11. And then after that, well, you saw Chef Jason last night. He's such a great guy. We're going to go over to Scholb's in Long Beach, 5-minute drive. We start over there at 11:30. Jason, you may have to open at 11:15. Once we get done with that, we're heading over to your place. We're going to bang on the door until you open it. And Jason will have great food. We'll be talking lots of fishing. We'll be doing a great raffle. It's just going to be a fun time. The after party should be a great one, and you get to meet the guys from Friedman Adventures, meet Jason, and so many others. So that is May the 15th. Our charters are getting pretty sold out. If you'd like me to send you the list, just please send me a text to 657-227-6459, and I'll send you the list. Mostly now what we have available is the fall, but some guys are saying you need to do some more charters. Your next trip after this Endeavor trip, which is going to get rescheduled, but our next trip is going to be, I believe, June 15th on the Amigo. That's when the limit of white sea bass goes from 1 to 3. I was talking to Mark Paisano Jr., who'll be running that trip, last night, and he said, Phil, I am itching to get out on the water. I can't take much more of that. He's doing boat work, getting the Amigo looking so beautiful. Everything is new on that boat. So it should be really a joy to fish on. Can't wait to do that. Charter list, I'll send it to you if you need it. Look for Mark Paisano Sr. His podcast will be coming up in the next couple of days. That's going to be a great one. We're going to talk about everything. I mean, he's so well versed on bait, on long range, on local. We even get into some hot topics like immigration and all kinds of stuff. And of course, we asked Mark what it meant to be part of the Desiree reunion video. And if you haven't watched that, watch it before you watch the Mark Paisano show, because he'll be talking about that and so much more. All right, coyotes running by, birds flying around, a bird school up there, so many things to watch, including the weather, which is kind of snotty in a lot of areas. Not kind of, it is snotty, sporty, nautical, as we like to say. Euphemism for really crappy weather. All right, we'll continue to watch it for you. We thank you for your great support here at Friedman Adventures. Our stats are going through the roof, and they are going through the roof for one reason, and that's each and every one of you. Have a great morning. Enjoy your coffee. I'll see you soon again, my friends.